All right, so I'm hoping you can see my whiteboard here and myself in the camera. It's my first time trying this on Instagram. So I was listening to another creator yesterday, and she had talked, somebody had asked a question that with Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico both running as Dems, wouldn't that pull votes away from them, and that would make the Republican candidate win? And I wanted to kind of explain that because it won't. So this gets confusing, but I'm hoping I can get through it. So the primary, we have a primary now because it's not a election year for a president. So it's not the presidential election year, it's a primary election year, which is where we vote in senators and people from the House of Representatives. And this works just like the presidential election, except primary gets used twice, and that's what screws everybody up. So in a presidential election year, you have a primary where you pick, the Dem candidate gets picked, the Republican candidate gets picked, and they run against each other. This is the same. So it's also called a primary. I know, it's really confusing. So what is going to happen in Texas is Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico are running against each other for the Democratic nomination. And in the Republicans, you have John Cornyn, who is the incumbent, meaning he is the guy in the Senate, Wesley Hunt, and then Ken Paxton. So all three of these Republicans are going to run together. And you're going to end up, Texas is going to end up with one Republican winning and one Dem. And then the Republican and the Dem will run against each other for November's election. So that's why it gets confusing, because it's using primary twice. But this is like midterms. So really we should be saying it's a midterm election, but you have the primary before it, then the midterms. So this is why it is so important to vote in a primary. Because if you're like, well, I like James Tallarico, or I like Jasmine Crockett, whatever the case may be, you need to vote in that primary so that you're voting for your candidate. A lot of these votes come down, you would be surprised, to 100 votes, 50 votes, 500 votes, very small numbers. So if you're really pulling for one person to run for the Senate that you want as that Dem, you need to go vote. So you need to find out when your primary elections are, and then obviously the midterms are in November. And again, the states, run their elections. So I hope this helps, because this is not pulling away votes. Now let me explain why we talk about they could pull away votes. Okay? And this, again, gets kind of confusing. Okay, so let's pretend that we've had a primary election. Jasmine Crockett is one for the Dems, Ken Paxton is one for the Republicans, and I am the third party candidate. So I ran as a third party. Let's say my views are close to Jasmine Crockett's. I have about the same views as she does. There's some things I want differently, whatever. And I get, let's say, 20% of the vote, which is high. That could pull votes away from her, meaning then in the actual election, the Republican would win, because it could pull votes from Jasmine. Just like if I had views that aligned more with a Republican, and in the primary it was Jasmine Crockett, Ken Paxton, and myself, I could pull votes from the Republican. So that's how that works for elections and pulling votes. And I hope this helps in my explanation. If you guys have any questions, drop it down in the comments. I can always make another video, but I'm hoping this helps.